Hello everyone and welcome to this video. Now today I'm going to be doing a vinyl update video, just another roundup of some of the records which I've purchased over the last couple of months now. So I'll just get stuck right in. Couple of finds from a shop in Falkirk called Silver Machine Records. Recently opened, been there a few times, always come out with some good stuff, and this time was no exception. So I picked up this Kate Bush compilation called The Whole Story. This one came out I think in 1986, I want to say, so just after Hounds of Love, so it kind of summarises her career really up to that point. It starts with Wuthering Heights, and you've got things like Cloud Busting, Breathing, Hounds of Love, Running Up That Hill, of course, Babushka to close the album, and it's a lovely packaging as well, on this one here. That's Kate Bush, The Whole Story. I then got this album, which I don't see kicking around too often, but yeah, I've seen it today, this time I went shopping and I thought, yeah, I think I'll give it a try. So it is John Lennon live in New York City. There's a couple of John Lennon albums which all came out around this kind of time. There was this, and then there was Menlove Avenue as well. So this is from the mid-80s, 1986. This is a live recording from one of his only concerts actually, as a solo artist. In 1972, he performed a couple of shows at Madison Square Gardens, and this is the live album from it. I haven't played it yet, but I have seen quite a bit of footage from the concert, and it is a good performance, I have to say. He's backed by the Elephants Memory Band, who are not a great band. They're quite sloppy and a bit you've got a lot of saxophone on there. It's very in your face kind of thing. I think he was on this these shows, he was promoting his Sometime in New York City album, which isn't a great album, I have to say. However, thankfully there are only 2 of the tracks from that on here, which is certainly I thought the better, and then the rest of the track list is highlights from other solo albums. So you got things like Instant Karma, Well, and Mother from Pastor Kono Band, and a couple of tracks from Imagine, and a good version of Come Together as well. So this is quite an essential record for any John Lennon fan, so quite glad to pick it up. It's got a lovely inner sleeve as well, nice picture of John and Yoko there on the back, so nice to get this one. And then I got a couple of singles from this same shop here, so I got another 3 singles here. So I got this Squeeze one. This is Up the Junction, classic single, one of the best songs from 1979 without a shadow of a doubt. Fantastic track, and this is on a nice lilac vinyl there. And then I thought I had all of the Style Council singles, but this is one which I was missing. At least I got a 7-inch. This is The Lodgers here, so one of the singles from our favourite shop. A great album. This one's never been one of my favourite Style Council singles though, but it's still a good song. Wasn't a massive hit, but yeah, a good track there though. And then I got this one by The Police, which is their debut album, debut single for Nothing Achieving and Fallout. I think it was a double A side possibly, but yeah, this was released 1977, so way before Roxanne or Can't Stand Losing You came out. Again, a big flop single, but interesting one to get though. Yeah, the debut single there by The Police. And then just round from where I live, they had a wee market on, again going back about a month or 2 now. So I've got another few singles, and then a couple of albums there as well. So I got this David Bowie single. This is Ashes to Ashes, classic single, number 1 in 1980. Another Squeeze one here, which I actually already owned. This was a bit of an oversight, but I got Another Nail in My Heart. Fantastic track, again, one of the best songs from 1980, I have to say. Squeeze were a fantastic singles band, but yeah, as it turned out, I already had a copy of that. I'm kind of losing track sometimes. And then I got this ELO one. I think this was only £1, more for the picture sleeve than anything. Sweet Talking Woman, and it back to a song called Bluebird Is Dead, which is from one of their earlier albums. ELO never had exclusive B-sides, but yeah, a great song and a nice picture sleeve. And then I got this Elvis Costello one. This is Sweet Dreams, one of the singles from the Almost Blue album, so his kind of country covers album. Again, got that one very cheap. And then I showed this album in the ranking video I did for albums from 1979, and I really enjoyed it. It was mentioned in a great book I got gifted, which was like the Squeeze story by I'm not sure if it's called the Squeeze story, but like a James Griffiths book about Squeeze. Fantastic book. Like I will link like if I find like an Amazon link or something, like I will pop it in the description like to like this video, because I really enjoyed that book. But yeah, he mentioned this album or this band in it, and it kind of perked my interest, so I thought I would give it a try. It's the Tubes album, Remote Control, mentioned because they supported Squeeze on one of their tours. We've also got on here another notable wee fact is the drummer Prairie Prince. He would later drum with XTC. Believe he's on Skylarking. He's certainly on Oranges and Lemons, but he did a fair bit of studio drumming for XTC. But yeah, this was the band he was in before that. And then I got this album, which is by the Icicle Works. Now, in my last update, I showed one of their other albums. I can't remember what it was even called. Was it called Permanent Damage? Like, it's one like their slightly later albums, I think from 1990. This one came out a bit before. This is from 85, I think, so this is possibly even like their second album. But again, I didn't think much of this one, certainly compared to like the debut album, which is amazing. This one didn't really stack up for me, so yeah, this was a bit of a disappointment. It's called The Small Price of a Bicycle. Next up now is by a band called The Weather Prophets. This is Why Does the Rain, just a 12-inch single here. A great band fronted by Peter Astor. He would later have a really good solo career, and actually was I think he was supposed to be the support act for when I went to see the House of Love last month, but I'm not sure if he had to pull out or what. But we got someone else, and I was a bit disappointed because I would have quite liked to have seen Peter Astor. But yeah, this was his band, The Weather Prophets, from 1987. Another 80s single here. Actually, I think this one might be early 90s. This is the Trash Can Sinatras. This is Obscurity Knocks. I believe this was their first release, and this is a great single. This is the lead-off track from their Cake album, debut album. Fantastic record. I think I've recently reviewed it. But yeah, this is a great song. Obscurity Knocks here. Okay, now I've got a couple of records from a record fair up in Dundee a couple of weeks back, which I went to. Really good record fair, I have to say. Certainly one of the better ones that we get in Scotland. And I got a fair bit. So I got this is by The Cars. It's their album Heartbeat City. I'm not a massive fan of The Cars. I do really like them. I love the debut album, but then the rest of their output I'm a kind of a bit hit and miss on. I kind of don't maybe go to it as much as maybe some other people do, but this is one of their more successful albums. You can see there it contains the hit single Drive, which is one of their classic songs. Very 80s this album, it has to be said, on the inside there. But aside from that song Drive, I don't think I know any other tracks on here, to be fair. From 1984, so yeah, it was fairly cheap, this one as well. So yeah, that is Heartbeat City by The Cars. Next up from the record fair was this George Harrison 12-inch single. This is When We Was Fab. Now I've never actually seen this before. I knew it was a single, but yeah, I'd never seen it on a 12-inch. Yeah, quite glad to see it. A really good song, very Beatlesy. This song, he was kind of finally accepting his kind of role as a Beatle, I think, by this point, and kind of I guess sort of recognising it in a quite kind of funny, light-hearted way. Great video. You've got I think Jeff Lynne and Ringo are in the video. They certainly play on the song. And yeah, this is backed with a song called Zigzag, which again I think is an exclusive B-side. So yeah, that's When We Was Fab. I then picked up this single, which I had no idea even existed, to be honest. It's a Lloyd Cole one, and it's a Forest Fire, but it's a reissue of it, which was issued to promote the Greatest Hits album. And I've got no idea this one even came out. I just see that and I was like, oh, I've never seen that one before. So again, I'm a bit of a Lloyd Cole collector, kind of get anything he appears on. So yeah, this was a nice one to pick up, a nice surprise there. And then I got this album, which is one I remember talking about, or or I think they've recommended to me by my friend James Lobb, but he doesn't make videos like anymore, like, which is like a real shame. Like, but like, yeah, like we've kept in touch, and again, this is going back a couple of years, like he mentioned this band, and I remember listening to the album thinking, yeah, that's pretty good, but I'd never thought to investigate it or buy a copy of it, but I just seen it and was like, yeah, I think I'm going to get that, because it was very cheap. It's by The Call, and it's called Reconciled. So this is 80s, it's a bit more... It sounds very much like U2, I would say, you know, a slightly harder edge U2, but yeah, no, a really great record. Again, very cheap, and yeah, like, really glad to finally get a copy of it from 1986. Okay, now this is actually my first album by this artist, which you might find a bit hard to believe, but I thought I would give this a try again. I'm trying to branch out a little bit, so I got this album. It's a Brian Ferry Roxy Music compilation called Street Life 20 Great Hits. So this kind of collects 20 Roxy Music / Brian Ferry songs onto like a kind of like a double compilation. And again, as I said, I've not got any off their music, like either Roxy Music or Brian Ferry. I think Roxy Music is a bit more acclaimed, like their sort of like albums, like they do have, like they are often like quite highly regarded albums. His solo stuff maybe sees maybe a bit too commercialised, I'm not sure, but yeah, though still a good one to pick up here though, and like yeah, very cheap, a very common album. I think my parents probably have it like on CD, like to be fair, but like a great compilation here though. Okay, and then I also picked up this from the Record Fair, which is a Smiths 12-inch single. This is Heaven Knows I'm Miserable Now here. Again, I'm kind of, like I think I'm slowly collecting like these Smiths 12-inch singles. I've kind of fallen into like that kind of like rabbit hole, but I do like to get them out at a fairly reasonable price, because they often go for silly money. I think this was about £12 or £15, which is about what they're kind of like worth, like to like be honest. This is backed with Girl Afraid and Suffer Little Children from the the Smiths debut album. But yeah, one of like their best singles here from 1984. And then last one from that Record Fair, I got this single. This is Making Plans for Nigel, of course, by XTC. Now, I have already got a copy of this, but this is a slightly special version of it, which I'd never seen before. But unfortunately, it is an incomplete copy, like you'll see what I mean, like so it's kind of a fold out version, so the record's in here, there it is, but then the actual sleeve folds out to make a board game, which is really crazy. Like, but yeah, like you get a board game with this. Now, like original copies of this actually did come with a couple of like counters or kind of like figurines. Like I think of like the characters. I think like the Nigel character and then like the parents. I mean, it's kind of like a Snakes and Ladders style game here. Yeah, I mean, like XTC always had crazy packaging like with like their singles. I mean, it's a wonder they managed like to get away with it, because they had very few hits, and probably a lot of the money and kind of profits went on extravagant packaging like this. But no, a great single here though, like really like their breakthrough single, like to like be honest like with you, and yeah, a fantastic song there. So Make Plans for Nigel from 1979. And then also from Dundee there is a new shop which has opened, well certainly that new for me, it's called 13 Records. It's named after the Big Star song. They've got a big sort of Big Star logo, which I thought was like quite neat, like outside, and I got a little bit in there, not much, mostly yeah all singles to be honest with you. So I got a couple of CD singles, which is not normally my thing, but these are only, well, one was £1 and one was 50p, so I thought you can't say fairer than that. So I got this Beautiful South one. This is Rotterdam, classic single from the 90s, and again got it really for like 2 exclusive B-sides on here. So it's Beautiful South, and then this was only 50p, which I thought was they were just giving it away. It's a single by The Church, and it's a bit of a weird one, this, because it says Megalopolis is what it says there, but it's the song Metropolis from the Gold Afternoon Fix album. I mean, one of like their best songs, but I'm not sure why they named this single or this EP, like if you want to call it, a different title to the actual lead song on it. But yeah, The Church slowly becoming one of my favourite bands. Like I would say, like they had an incredible run like of albums, and this was and that is certainly one of like their finest singles. And then I got this 12-inch single there, only £1 again, so I thought, again, can't say fair on that. It's by the Lotus Eaters. Not a band I know too well, but I did pick up their album, I think their only album, called No Sense of Sin, a couple of months back, and really enjoyed it. So I've got no idea if this song is actually from that album. I would assume so. It's called, like, You Don't Need Someone New. But this is just a 12-inch, and again, this was only £1, so I thought, yeah, why not? 1983, so I think it probably would be on their debut album. And then I got another XTC single. This one a little bit more expensive, but again, even then, for like an XTC picture sleeve single, it wasn't too badly priced. So this is for This Is Pop here. And again, really nice cover. Really enjoyed the cover. And this is again one of like their earlier singles. So this was the original lineup with Barry Andrews instead of Dave Gregory. I must say, I've never been too big on this early lineup like of XTC, or like the early kind of XTC sound, but they did have a couple of great singles. This certainly being like one of this certainly being one of them, and probably like the finest track, like from like their debut album. So yeah, This Is Pop. Like yeah, glad to pick that one up. And then I got this, which is by The House of Love here. This is a reissue of the Christine single. I'm not even sure like if this was even originally out like on like a 7-inch like back in the day, but this was a reissue from a couple of years back. And I think I'm not sure how many of these singles they reissued. If they maybe did this one, I've got a copy of Shine On like this, and they might have done Destroy the Heart like as well. But yeah, this is a nice copy on a lovely clear vinyl. You also then get a poster and I believe a postcard as well, so you get a nice postcard in there, and then a poster as well in here, which I'll just open up now, which is just off their Guy Chadwick there. So that's really nice, yeah. Nice reissue there of Christine. Okay, and then a couple of weeks back, I was down in London. Actually, like our main reason for going was actually to go to like the ABBA Voyage concert, like the virtual like ABBA concert, which was actually really good. I would certainly like recommend it, to like anyone. I thought they actually looked really realistic, like in some ways. It was quite an odd experience, like to like be honest, like kind of like it's almost like they were actually there, but no, it was really good. I would certainly recommend it. Unfortunately though, like you weren't allowed to film or anything like inside, so I was maybe going to make a video of it, but because you're not allowed to film, would have been a bit pointless. But also when I was down, I got to go to a couple of record shops, like not too many. I think just a couple like in Greenwich, and actually this one, it was called the Music Exchange, and it's actually really good for like a London record shop, a London-based record shop. I certainly think the prices were like really, really reasonable. And there was a lot of great stuff actually. So yeah, I'll just go through some of the things I picked up there. So I got this House Martins single. This is Happy Hour. Again, a big House Martins fan. I've got all their 12-inch singles, but just whenever I see these 7-inches going cheap, I will pick them up. So this is again only £1 there. Happy Hour. I got this Blue Nile single, which is one I think is one which like they've given away. It's not in brilliant condition, but it is quite rare. It's called I Love This Life. Now this was their debut single, released in 1981. So I'll just quickly show it here. It looks like this. This is a Spanish copy of it, I believe. So it has got the big hole like there. And then there's the back of it there. So I've not actually played this yet, so I don't even know this song, to be honest. But I just seen it and was like, I'm pretty sure that's their debut single. And then I kind of looked it up, and it turned out to be the case, and also turned out to be a little bit like on like the rare side. But this was £5 just to put it like into like perspective, like of how reasonable like the shop was. And then I got a couple more House of Love singles here. So I got this one, which is for the song Never. Again, got this on a 12-inch, but this was only £1 also. So again, I would have felt very bad about leaving that one behind. And then this one is a little bit more quirky and interesting. It's the Beatles and the Stones here. Now this is actually like a kind of limited edition kind of box set version. Now I'm going to struggle to get it out of this plastic sleeve I put it in. Here, just bear with me here. There we are. And yeah, I'll just quickly show this here. So this is kind of like so it opens up like this here, which is really cool. I don't think it should open up like that. I think it's not quite glued down right. But then yeah, it comes out here, And so you get the single, Beatles on the Stones, and then you get a lovely poster in here, like, as well, just off, again, I think this is just off, like, the single artwork there. So again, I love it when singles came with, like, sort of quirky packaging, like this, yeah. Okay, and then from that same shop, another couple of, I got this 12-inch single, which is for Stay, by, by the Blue Nile. They had quite a fair bit of Blue Nile stuff, actually, again, like this shop. But yeah, this was again going fairly cheap. It's a Stay from the debut album, A Walk Across the Rooftops, fantastic album. And again, I'd never seen this before. Didn't even know this was a single, to be frankly honest with you. So yeah, nice to pick that one up. And then I got this, which is by a band called Brinsley Schwartz. Now this was Nick Lowe's band before he had a kind of solo career and a career like as like a record producer. He of course produced like Elvis Costello's first couple of albums. This was the band that he was in before then, and I've not played this yet, but I know I fairly like their kind of style. It's like the song I know of theirs, and probably like the most popular song is "Surrender to the Rhythm," which was basically the song which was kind of, I was going to say, covered by the Style Council, essentially, as their debut single "Speak Like a Child." Like the two songs are uncannily similar, but a really great compilation here though from them, Brinsley Schwartz original Golden Greats. Okay, we're into like the final few now. So these are all more kind of recent reissues, and then a kind of slightly rare surprise I got at the end. I'll just quickly show this. It's a House of Love. Their new album, A State of Grace, came out last month, and this is brilliant. Probably exceeded my expectations like a little bit. I think it's a stunning album personally. So yeah, certainly will be making my end of year list somewhere. Not quite decided where I'm going to put it yet, but no, really good. But this is on a 10-inch, which is a little bit annoying. You never normally get records like on a 10-inch now. Would have preferred if it was a full size, but no. A great record here, A State of Grace. And then from the same shop that I ordered that, I picked up a couple of other items while I was there. So I got this Belle and Sebastian album, If You're Feeling Sinister, one of their classic albums here, 1996. A brilliant record. I'm slowly getting into Belle and Sebastian. I've got this one, I've got The Boy with the Adult Strap. I think that's it at the moment, but yeah, those are probably their two standout albums, I have to say. And then I picked up this. This is an album which came out a couple of years back. It's sort of like an indie album by a band called The Magic Gang. From 2018, I believe, it originally came out. But this is a nice reissue of it. It's on a yellow vinyl, and this is really great. I'm not really sure what I could kind of compare it to, it is just good, solid guitar, sort of power pop, I would say. So if you're a fan of things like Teenage Fan Club, or anything off that kind of ilk, this is a really good album, tight harmonies, great guitar playing, pretty good songwriting, as well. If you were to try out one song from it, I would say the closer, All That I Want Is You, is probably the standout track, and that was the track for me, which pricked up my ears, when I first heard it, and thought, oh, they sound like a good band, and yeah, they are. So that is The Magic Gang. And this one only arrived today. It is a band called The Ocean Blue. Now this one, I do have my friend vinyl collector James to thank for recommending these to me. Fantastic band. They're an American band, early late 80s, early 90s. Remind me a bit. Again, they're hard to describe. They're very jangly, a bit a bit like the Charlatans, a little bit. But maybe a bit more kind of jangly, on the chords, but vocally, the singer does have a kind of similar voice to Tim Burgess. This is, I think, their second album called Corellion. And this is really great, and this is a recent reissue of it. It's on clear vinyl, but unfortunately these were only issued in America, so I actually had to get this one imported over, and I've ordered a few more off their other albums, because I got a pretty I've seen some half decent deals on them, so I've got a few more albums by the Ocean Blue due to arrive. But yeah, this was the first one, so I thought I would show it today, Corellion. And yeah, great album. So that the track I would check out is Mercury. That's a really great song. Okay, and now to finish, I've got this album here, a little bit like off like a rarity, and yeah, one which I've seen this artist a couple of months back in concert, and that's perhaps what kind of spurred me on to get this album. It's Edwyn Collins and the album Gorgeous George. This was actually a bit of a surprise hit album like for Collins. He'd kind of, as I said, he'd done Orange Juice and then he'd had a couple of solo albums, none of which had really taken off, but then this album with the lead single A Girl Like You, that became a massive monster hit pretty much everywhere, like even like in like America and yeah, like all over the world. He kind of, yeah, he had this huge hit like almost like out of nowhere, and subsequently this album like did like pretty well like as well, and then he kind of then ended up kind of just fading again like into like obscurity. But this is a great record. It's probably like his best solo album like on balance. I'll just quickly show the vinyl here. So that's the inner sleeve there, all looking really nice, and then the vinyl itself is here. So this is a like a really great album. I think my favourites aside from A Girl Like You is probably like Out of This World, like I remember really liking. Yeah, like those two easily standout tracks up here. So yeah, that's me come to the end of this vinyl update video, so I hope you have enjoyed. If you have got any requests for future reviews, please do leave them down below, like in like the comments. I have got a few which I'm thinking of doing, but yeah, any other suggestions would be much appreciated. I'm also hoping to continue that kind of like my album rankings video for like each year, like for different years like of music. So I've got a couple of those prepared or kind of ready to go kind of thing. So yeah, like I'm looking forward to making more of those. But yeah, any other suggestions for videos or whatnot, please do leave them down below in the comments, and I will see you all next time for the next video. Goodbye.